Well, howdy everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Stock Show Confidential. I'm Terry Jordan. You know, we're rounding out our trip here in Cowtown, the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo, and we're going to talk with the Executive Vice President from the Man and Jew Association and meet the Texas Hereford sweetheart, Hannah Schneider. Y'all stick around, it's going to be a good one. You know, while we were here in Fort Worth, we ran into the Bacon family once again. Craig and Justin, they were getting cattle ready. Now, we talked with Craig about their family lifestyles and what it's like to grow up in the stock barns. Well, friends, I'm standing here with Craig Bacon, and we met up with his daughter a while back out in Louisville, Kentucky at the North American International Livestock Show. Craig, your family has been involved in the stock show industry a long, long time. Tell me how it all got started with you back whenever you started showing steers and heifers.
Okay, so I started showing Hereford heifers when I was in high school and showed at all the junior nationals through my high school career, and just kind of natural for the kids to come along and show the Herefords.
Well, you know, for some folks that may not really understand exactly what we do, that are watching today and trying to get a feel, you know, anybody can get involved in this industry.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And then, you know, we're at a point in time when so many that are out there in the public don't have any appreciation for this part of production agriculture. So to have kids that are ambassadors, each of my kids have been National Beef Ambassadors. So a great way for them to be around the industry, have an appreciation for the industry, and be able to communicate to others, you know, what this industry is all about, and really dispel a lot of the myths. And each one of the kids will find their niche in order to for a career someday. And without a doubt, being involved in this livestock show event has helped shape that career and give them a real good touch of what this industry is all about.
Well, I congratulate you, and I know that you raised some very well-rounded kids, and so my hat's off to you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm sitting here with Dustin Bacon. Now, Justin's a junior at Oklahoma State University and just came out of the Hereford show. Justin, how'd you do?
Had a good day. Won a class with the first heifer and had a fourth with the other, so pretty good day.
Now, up at Oklahoma State, you tell me you're involved in a lot of other things besides just agriculture. Tell me about your major, and then also I'd like to know, you know, what you do for your extracurricular activity.
Okay. Well, I'm a food science major with a meat science option. I'm involved in a lot of clubs. I'm involved in Alpha Zeta, which is a honorary, if you got a good enough grades, you can get into the club. I'm in food science. I'm the vice president of that club. We do a lot of product development and that kind of thing. So that involves, it's really tied into my major, and that's kind of why I got involved with that club. It's been fun. I'm about getting too old to show, so I'll have to start showing the open show. So this will be my last year to show in the junior show.
Well, folks, as you can see, as we travel across the country, we talk to these young men and young women, I think it's pretty safe to say that America's in pretty good hands. Right after our break, you're going to hear a very inspiring story about a guy that, well, he had a dream about showing cattle. You're not going to want to miss it. Stock Show Confidential is brought to you by the following sponsors: Sullivan Show Supply and Stock Show University, Sure Champ, Justin Discount Boots and Cowboy Outfitters, Showmaster Feeds, StockShowConfidential.com, Rogers Ford, EB Trailers, and Paragon Bed Covers.
What separates a champion from second place is champions don't have an off-season. Whether at home or before the big game, champions train and prepare to perform at their best. SureChamp users have no off-season. They feed SureChamp at home and on the road.
We feel that SureChamp is something that will help keep those hogs on feed as they're hauled to different shows across the country, and just keep them healthy and on track for their goal in the end.
Feed SureChamp because there is no off-season. For dealers, visit SureChamp.com.
Friends, let's step inside the cattle barns, introduce you to a guy by the name of Jim Riley. Now, Jim was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Now, there's a lot of stuff that's known about multiple sclerosis, but you know, it's not a hereditary disease and there's no known cause for it. But there's some therapies that are involved in treating this very serious disorder, and one of the treatments that we think best is showing cattle. Well, folks, at the Fort Worth Stock Show, you never know who you're going to run into, but I've met two very interesting people, Mary Sams and her son, Jim Riley. Now, Jim, I want to talk to you a little bit about, this is the first time back here at the Stock Show for you in quite some time.
It is the first time that I've shown here, the first time I've shown at a major stock show in my life, but I did show extensively when I was in 4-H, but never had an opportunity to come to a venue like this, and it's been a great experience.
Well, you did fairly well out there today for your first time back, but I also happen to know another piece of information. You're sort of a spokesman for multiple sclerosis.
Yes, the cattle community is not aware of MS maybe like some of the other communities, and I think it's like a lot of issues. Until you know somebody, you don't know about it, and you don't become active in it. When you have a friend or family member that does, then all of a sudden it becomes personal, and then it's something that you then kind of want to follow or be an activist for or help with the fundraising, etc.
Well, you know, so many people, they have a lot of things happen in their life, and you're a shining example that you don't let things get in your way, that you can overcome adversity sometimes. And I happen to know a couple of other things about you too, that you really had a hard struggle. You lost your job, you lost your home.
That is true. About 5.5, 6 years ago, I was at a softball tournament, and I had unexplained numbness and pain and fatigue, and after about 1.5 years seeing different doctors, they did diagnose me with multiple sclerosis and fibromyalgia, and so I had to quit playing the sports that I was playing, tennis and softball, and I did sell my house, and I did end up having to leave my job because it was just too much.
Well, I happen to know something else about you also. You started a new venture in your life, and it's the cards.
Yes, I came to the stock show 2 years ago, and kind of got interested again, and then last year when I came, I had recently received a cricket, which is to help make cards. It's a die cutter to cut out lettering and shapes and things, and I kind of thought about it and thought, well, all the people that are in the livestock industry who do thank you cards or personalized Christmas cards, things like that, I mean, there's nobody really doing that. So I thought, well, I would try that, and I started that after visiting here last year.
Mm-hmm. Well, folks, if you want a shining example of how to get back involved in the stock show industry, this family right here is a prime example of that. You're never too young, you're never too old. You can absolutely do it. And it doesn't matter a lot of times whether you have something in your life that is traumatic. You can overcome those adversities. There's no better place to do that than right inside of one of these stock barns. Well, howdy folks, here's an opportunity that you won't want to miss. At Stock Show Confidential, we're going to be giving away a free heifer calf feed and mineral supplement. Now all you have to do is go to stockshowconfidential.com to register. The feed is going to come from Showmaster Feed, mineral supplement from Sure Champ, and one of the top heifer calves anywhere in the country going to come to you from Sullivan Ranch. Tune in, check it out on stockshowconfidential.com. Void where prohibited. Let's head over now and talk with Hannah Schneider. She is the Texas Hereford sweetheart. You know, it's more than just about a pretty face. It's about knowing good cattle. Well, here's a young lady that knows all about it.
I'm Hannah Schneider. I'm from Aquila, Texas. I go to West High School. I am 15 and I showed in the junior show and I got 5th, which I was pretty proud of because I did beat some cow-calf pairs. So I guess it was good enough for me. I have showed Hereford cattle for like 8 years now, and I was Sweetheart 2 years ago and I enjoyed it, so I thought I'd try it again. So I had to write an article or essay about myself and what I enjoy doing, why I enjoy showing Hereford cattle, and then I had like a little interview, I guess you would call it. Most of the time I just like hand out ribbons and take backdrop pictures, but I've been to meetings this week, been to the Cowtown select sales and the commercial Hereford pen sales. My dad showed cattle, Hereford cattle, when he was younger, and I have a little brother named Zachary, and he is 10, and he has been showing for roughly 3 years, but he doesn't enjoy it as much as I do. I plan on staying in the Hereford industry, but I do plan on going to Tarleton or A&M to become an ag teacher. If there's anyone that would like to become a Texas Hereford sweetheart, you could go to their website, texashereford.org, or call their home office, which is in Fort Worth.
Well, it's that time again. Tips from the vet segment coming up, and we're going to talk about foot rot today, an extremely contagious disease that affects cattle, sheep, and goats. Now, one of the effective treatments for that is an antibiotic like penicillin. Let's hear from our vet about this very serious disease.
Foot rot is an infection of the interdigital space, kind of between the claws, and can happen in sheep, goats. Cattle is probably the most common. It's caused by a bacteria that lives in kind of dirty, contaminated environments, typically where there's a lot of manure, urine, mud, any place where bacteria thrive. This stuff hides out and hangs out. And can be a serious cause of lameness in show animals. The symptoms of foot rot are, first of all, lameness. Sometimes you'll get swelling starting out in between the interdigital space, in between the claws, the toes of your animals there, and sometimes will progress up the leg farther all the way to the ankles, or sometimes even higher than that if it gets serious. There's a typically very foul odor. Sometimes you can't smell it unless you get down right close. Kind of mixes in with the smell of manure and bedding and things, but there is a pretty awful odor in between their toes there. So any sign of lameness and swelling in the lower limbs is a good indication you could have some foot rot. It's typically a problem in where animals are housed, so stall and bedding situations is typically where they pick it up a lot. Clean bedding, clean places where they're walking around, kind of letting your show animals avoid muddy areas, and anything that would cause abrasions between the toes. So it's also a big problem in areas, if they're grazing areas that have short stalks or weeds that can abrade and puncture the area in between the toes. That's one of the biggest causes. Staying too moist or too dry, either one is bad, so kind of keeping environmental conditions just right, which sometimes can be difficult. Typical treatment for foot rot, the standard drug of choice for that would be LA200 is a trade name. It's a long-acting oxytetracycline. You can give injections every 2 days for usually 2, maybe 3 treatments. Sometimes cleaning the affected area if it's show animals that are gentle enough, keeping it clean, maybe applying some just any kind of topical spray to kind of help keep things clean and happy at the location. But antibiotics, very important in getting it well. I'm Dr. Dustin Ackley with Brock Vet Clinic, Lamesa, Texas. If you have further questions or would like more information, please look up www.stockshowconfidential.com.
Be sure and check out StockShowConfidential.com. Now, if you have an interesting story, we'd like to hear about it. And also be sure and check out our Breeders' Corner. We have the top goat, pig, lamb, and steer breeders listed there. Check it out. EB aluminum trailers are the choice of serious showmen. Began in 1938, EB's among the most experienced livestock trailer builders. Family owned for 3 generations with dealers all over North America, EB will be there for the long haul. So it's no wonder you see more EB trailers in show lots than any other brand. Champions choose EB. Come choose yours. With every cattle organization, well, there always has to be some executives involved, and they're the guys that kind of run the show. Let's introduce you to John Boddicker. He is the Executive Vice President of the Maine and Jew Association. Well, folks, we're standing here in the Watts Arena watching the Maine and Jew Show, and I'm alongside of John Boddicker. He is the Executive Director for the Maine Association. Now, John, tell my viewing audience if they want to know a little information. A lot of people may not be familiar with Maine and Jews. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, like all the continental cattle that came across the river there, you know, back in the late 60s, early 70s, these came from France. From the Mansell and Durham breeds. The cattle that first came over, the full bloods, were red and white in color, were known for performance and milk. And probably those qualities, along with the disposition, has carried forward throughout the years with the cattle you see here today.
Well, you know, these cattle, obviously, this is a little bit different than going out on a ranch and watching some of these calves that are bred specifically to bring to these shows.
Right. From a commercial standpoint, as we move in that direction, our cattle are known, you know, along with that disposition, we can add to it, and because of the disposition, they're great on the feed efficiency part of it in the feedlot.
When we look out here, and obviously today's a heifer class out here, but they're also bringing, we'll see steers later on. Let's talk about the value of some of these animals.
Well, actually, in going down into the junior projects, that a lot of juniors are showing out here today, along with the open class individuals, they'll range anywhere, and they'll get into that upper end in that 25,000 on up, you know, into 50 and a few more than that. But they're really there's a lot of good breeding genetic pieces out here that'll go on, and I know that sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but from a genetic standpoint, a reproduction standpoint, and the way the industry is going in the Maine Anjou breed, that will come back, and they'll end up doing very well with that investment.
A lot of people may not be familiar with some of the color configurations.
But you know, as we saw in our full blood show here earlier today, the original full bloods that came over were red and white. Our breed right now is predominantly black. Brought up from the Angus base. As you see in our maintainer show out here right now, we would have some blacks, a few reds, and then a Charolais base female that we saw earlier. So we've got a little bit different colors on that maintainer division.
If someone wanted to know some more information about the Maine and Jew cattle, how would they find that out?
Easiest way would be go to our website at www.mainonju.org.
Coming up next, we're going to hear from Bailey Buck. She is the president of the Junior Main-on-Jew Association. Here's a young lady that grew up in the cattle barns and has had tremendous success. Let's hear her story. Well, I'm here with Bailey Buck, and she is the president of the Junior Main-on-Jew Association. Bailey, tell me how you got to be in this capacity.
Well, I had to get elected to the board first, and then I decided over the summertime I wanted to be the president and maybe change a few things up in the Junior Association for the better, hopefully, see what we can get done.
Well, you just came out of the ring with a really nice heifer a while ago, so, you know, people that want to learn about showing cattle, what's the best tip that you could give them?
Well, showing cattle is a whole lot more than just showing a good one. You learn so much and you meet so many people, like so many great people, and you learn how to be responsible for yourself and how to take care of other things, and you have to be like well-rounded just to take care of all of it.
Well, obviously you grew up in the show ring, yes, and showing cattle, but now you're going into another chapter in your life. You're actually going to college right now.
Sure am.
At where?
Oklahoma State.
And you're going to major in?
Animal science with the option biotechnology.
So where do you think that is going to take you as you go and earn your degree, and where do you see yourself, 10 years from now?
I either want to do something in the medical field or something with animal genetics. I'm really interested in cattle genetics. I think that's a pretty cool deal.
Well, and it takes you so much farther in life as far as making, sure what you want to do for the rest of your life. And I know obviously you're going to be involved in the cattle business for a long, long time.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Well, congratulations. We wish you the best of luck in college up at OSU, Oklahoma State University. Again, Bailey Buck, president of the Junior Main-on-Jew Association. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, friends, thanks for joining us this week on Stock Show Confidential as the sun sets in the west and we close out another year here at Fort Worth, Texas. Until next time, here's hoping that we'll see you in the winner's circle.